Chapter 2, Recording 1, Sananda, Friday, October 27, 1989, 6:58 a.m., Year 3, Day 072. May the light that I bring flow forth into mankind. Sananda present, that we might continue our subject regarding the reality of evil. I choose to move rapidly, for I wish this mostly completed before Darlene's babe is brought into this dwelling. With this subject come the fragments of great low-frequency energies. When you leave this keyboard, you will not dwell upon these thoughts, Dharma. Whatever the thoughts that come, allow release of them, for it will be a great time of testing for you ones. The day of Halloween has become the day of celebration for the satanic cults. The tricks and treats will become more dangerous for the children, for the cult rituals will become more and more incredibly vile and sacrificial. Further, the cults themselves utilize children for the luring of other children into their covens and unto their sacrifice altars. It is a most critical time for children upon your placement. I will discuss the so-called UFO touted involvement just a bit later, for I want you to know what is going on in your very front gardens first of all. Now this is further evidence for you ones to realize just when the religion of Satan began to encompass your populace. It will give you insight into the timing of prophecies. It is not that evil is new, nor is it newly practiced as a cult. It is now prevalent and brought forth as a constitutionally protected religion. Now you parents must wake up and tend of your babies. The greatest numbers of abducted and murdered children are taken by these fanatically insane Satanists. Tend your children's schools, and especially babysitting institutions, most closely, for the very satanic training has its thrust into these businesses, and no one will come forth with forked tongue showing or horns or red capes. As parents, you must look carefully within and watch the actions of your babies. No place, no community is safe therefrom. In fact, some of the most heinous activities will be taking place in locations where ones are noted for their beauty and community. Now, these cult participants know how to terrify the children into silence. Your legal system is infiltrated with ones who cannot believe the actions have reached such unrealistic number or manner of actions. And it all begins very innocently as, "It feels good, do it." Then the noisemakers come forth to mesmerize the youth with the loud and stupefying beat of music. And then the words become filthy, vulgar, pornographic, and openly satanic. But the parents sleep on, for your government and psychic healers will tell you it has no impact, such as experts will tell you there is no effect on the earth fault lines from nuclear underground testing. The listeners are lulled into a state of open hypnotic trance, and the words of instruction are pouring within an open, loud, and pounding flow of instructions for suicide, violence, drug participation, and ultimately murder and satanic allegiance. This is followed by family gatherings, if there are such things to be found, groups around the television for watching a movie. If the projection is not openly violent, then you can be most positive that it is subordinately filled with unseen messages and transcribings beyond your natural ability to discern. Now, with few exceptions, your motion picture and television industry is filled with perverse, evil personages, and quite unwillingly so. Ones do not even believe nor know they have been taken. Ones truly believe they stand in favor of violence and realism and separation of church and state for grand and pure reasons. These ones become the prime tools of the satanic team, And what man sees and comes to believe by his visions, man becomes. Violence feeds on violence. And finally, the acts must become even more violent and deviant, or there is not satiation of the ever-growing addiction to this behavior. I warn you, ones, it is so subtle that you cannot know it has struck you until you are hooked. The dark forces of evil have worked long and most carefully to tear down all fibers of godness, and the masses have played most diligently into their hands. And you are now beginning to reap the horrendous rewards of that sleep time, the irreversible gift of selves into the hands of your evil enemy. And worse, you then find the truth coming forth before your eyes and blame God. How could God do this? What an uncaring God! Who would allow this? I am angry with God for doing this to me, or us. You go forth and espouse exactly what evil brotherhood tells you to espouse. And while you continue to practice all the ways to break the laws of God and creation, for you have forgotten what they are, I shall remind you of a few of them here. The commandments of God. You shall have no other gods than the God Creator, and abide within the laws of the creation which encompasses all. You shall not make for yourselves idols and false images to worship as gods, for therein you give power into the hands of evil. For within your heart place must dwell a doubt of the fullness of Creator, if you empower other than God, and the God fragment within self. The repercussions of breaking this law are usually most heinous indeed, and once produced, i.e., the lands depleted, the addictions of the mother to the babe, the disease into the children, etc. You can see that the sin or error of the parent is visited most surely upon the child and the grandchildren, and so on. You shall love the Lord God with all thy heart, soul, and being. You shall love God as thyself. Now, most of you hate and despise yourselves beyond comprehension. If you live according to the laws, there is balance, and these things of negative destruction do not come into beingness. You shall not use the name of God irreverently, nor use of it to swear to a falsehood. If you do this thing, then you have proven that your own word is without merit. And further, you are calling into play great power, which also gives unto evil the gift of your strength. Remember the Sabbath, to keep it holy. Now this is possibly the most truly misunderstood of all directives, and has been most incorrectly applied according to man. Now ye shall allow of time to commune in truth with God in his temple, which is within self. You shall refresh of your minds the truth of the directives, and abide in truth and honor. It represents your time of devotion and communion to God, and the creation, that you not stray into the trap of evil. It most certainly does not mean that you go forth into a man-made temple to hear another man's interpretation of God. I'm going to reread this because I think this is the most important. This is possibly the most truly misunderstood of all directives, and has been most incorrectly applied according to man. Ye shall allow of time to commune in truth with God in his temple, which is within self. You shall refresh of your minds the truth of the directives, and abide in truth and honor. It represents your time of devotion and communion to God and the creation, that you not stray into the trap of evil. It most certainly does not mean that you go forth into a man-made temple to hear another man's interpretation of God. You go forth into the very places where evil has set up the idols for you to worship. O little ones of the lie, mercy be unto you, for you have slept too long. Do you hear what he's saying right here, folks? Just as I've been saying, no churches are required. You don't need to go into a man-made, man-built church, because your church is within you. That's the only place you need to go to, within. God is right there. Your God essence is right there. Isn't that awesome? I figured that out a long time ago. But we still have stubborn people. I don't know what it is. They feel a need to have to go into evil. Now, a lot of them don't understand what that means because they're not awakened to truth. Let us continue. Honor your father and your mother, that your life shall be long in the land given unto your care. So be it. Give appreciation, honor, care, and respect unto those earth humans who gave you passageway into human format. But honor thy father, creator, and mother, the creation, of whom you are solely comprised. Through your dishonor thereof you have slain yourselves. You shall not murder thy fellow human. There is not a misunderstanding in this edict. Murder is the willful taking of another's life through intent, assisted suicide, or any such act with knowledge and intent. That, brothers, includes war. You must not commit adultery. Now, here is one you have written and rewritten to suit of yourselves. You have given of your own definitions to words to suit the lust and desires of the human physical form. Adultery is any sexual copulation of any form outside the state of a contractual marriage, and that act within a marriage, except between a husband and wife, to procreate offspring, to form family segments. What have ye ones done with this commandment? Oh, I see, you don't like that. So you have brought overpopulation, disease, murder through abortion, child abuse, and all manner of gross evil against yourselves and your peoples. You as a planet cannot survive the burden of that which you have brought forth through the rewriting of that law to please your human physical lust. So be it. Whether or not you like of it, it is a most reasonable law indeed. You must not steal. That too is most simple to understand. You take nothing that is another's, whether it be tangible or idea, especially his ideas, for they are most privately his possession. And you must always give honor and appreciation for the use of another's ideas, even if he has departed your dimension. Dear ones, even the heinous ideas for thy evil brother should be given his due credit, if his ideas have precipitated evil. Ye shall cease in the practice of giving credit to the Lord thy God for the corruption and heinous acts of evil. And you must not lie. Well, this too has been written and rewritten and totally misunderstood. A lie is not some smattering of words from the lips. The lie is the practice and projection of evil in any form. You, for instance, have become people of the lie and subjects of the prince of lies. Now, this one would require all the rest of this document to fully discuss. You must not covet or envy that which belongs to thy neighbor. You must be pleased over that which is another's, if it be worthy, and ye shall try to earn in honor and integrity that which may be equal. You shall not take that which is your friend's or your neighbor's, nor shall you desire to take his property for your own, and leave him without that which is his. Commandments of satanic practice. Satanic commandments and rules only amount to degree. Of one law break all laws of God, Creator and the creation, in substance, act, and completely in literal completion. Now let that seep into your consciousness for a moment. It does not ultimately mean to murder an insect or an animal. It means exactly what it says. Murder a human being. Kill it and defile it in any manner possible before or after death of the victim body. For the intent is to defile the soul, which is the fragment of eternal life. It further means that it is not enough if several kill a human entity. It means that each Satan follower must kill to fulfill his individual commandment requirements. Since adults are not so easily trapped and utilized, the children, your children, are taken for these death rituals. Motives. The police will seek. They will most often find none. Further, in your current time, the very act of murder will be hidden behind the facade of theft, drugs, and all manner of false disguises. The more atrocious the method and circumstance, the higher the rank of the leader of the individual covens. If ye doubt of my truth, look into the eyes of a Manson or a Ramirez who openly claim to be exactly that which they are. Further, when going gets rough and the boom comes down, the devil will desert his own once they can no longer be useful as tools. And he will promise you power, greatness, wealth, and on and on. Will he promise you things then? As abruptly, when your usefulness is served, you will be thrown to the winds, to reap of the pain alone and be destroyed. The onset will be subtle, just a little lie, just a little greed, just a little taking, just a bit of adultery, just one hit of a drug to test it. Note, the drugs are now addicting from first trial, and that is no accident. Just a little bit of violence and law-breaking to get a high, and just a little bit of rip-off of your company or neighbor in secret, and then a little more, and finally you are swallowed alive. And you can actually stand before God and your fellow man and think yourself innocent of wrongdoing? Do you believe that Jimmy Baker thinks he has done wrong? Of course not. He believes every word he utters. And then in the end he says, I have sinned, and the world laughs, driving one more nail into the coffin of truth and lighting one more candle in the court of Satan. Now watch what happens now. Tammy shall take up the cause, but Jimmy will probably be cast aside, for he can do little from a prison cell, and his brothers will forget him soon enough if it takes its usual path. And one side of the news He is just another criminal receiving a portion of probable injustice, for you see, he was set up for the fall by those who wanted that which he had. God may be most mysterious in his wonders to perform, but dear ones, evil is not even concerned enough to be mysterious. Play into man's fears and blindness, and you can control him unto human death. It is the same relative to the fear and terror crusade, and to discredit Space Brothers, to cause man to hide and cower in fear. Mankind had better get those sleepy eyes open right now, or you are headed right down the drain tube as a species. If you think you are going to be drifting up to some vapor-filled clouds to join a Christ energy, you better get with cleaning up your act and opening your book of knowledge, for you are going on a spacecraft, or you are going nowhere. Dharma, take a break, please, for the subject matter will not get easier. Go to a bookstore, and I shall guide thy hands. Man needs proof of these heinous things in his human format, and we must tell him where to find it. You shall remain in my protection. Man knows not that which he plays, and many end up as the most useful tools of the satanic forces, in true belief that they are serving Creator and creation. I am sorry, precious one, but these things must be brought forth. There is no other way. Keep thy protection drawn close, for it is this message that will ultimately bring the most attack. You will not turn on your lights nor answer of your door to the random caller on all witches' night, for you are most under attack in a most hidden manner. Now this includes all involved with this project, for all are vulnerable. If your children go forth to play, they must not be without guides and caretakers to monitor. But in this dwelling, do not open your home to any costumed stranger. I hereby place all adversaries who monitor this machine and these words, that no attack on mine ones will be accepted. Now this holiday has ceased to be the fun of children. It is the celebration of evil. I wish you to take note of a few things and write them, Dharma. Note that your hands are cold and your senses all but filled with remorse and foreboding apprehension. And further, I warn all of you who think to play with the satanic cards and toys, you play with destruction. See it for that which it is, and take great care, for ones of truth are the most attended targets. I shall not leave of you nor any ones of this group for even a brief moment, but I must have continual permission to remain and intercede continual. It is most crucial to hold to your truth and shield of protection in constant petition. I move to stand by. I bless you and surround you with love and light, that you not falter nor fall. All of you take utmost caution. I am Sananda of God, one with the creation. Hear me.